And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Chicago Cubs episode. I know everybody's bummed out, but it'll be okay. Maybe if you're maybe you live in Illinois. But anyway, yes, we're here to talk about the Chicago Cubs Mount Rushmore. So the 4 greatest Cubs in history, and all 5 of us are here today. So I don't think I have any more housekeeping. So let's get started. Drew, who is your number 4 Cubs Mount Rushmore?
My number 4 is Cap Anson.
I looked at that old bastard.
Yeah, I looked at him too.
Say Cap Anson is on a lot of lists in the old days.
Real old day.
Oh, yeah. I felt like doing an old guy this week, so that's what I did.
Before we move on, did anybody else have him?
No,
I did not either.
I did a little reading about him, though.
So he's a Hall of Famer, 4-time batting title. He's got, with the Cubs, he has 3,000 hits, 500 doubles, 120 triples, 97 home runs, 1,800 RBIs.
The difference there is shocking. Not home runs and RBIs.
He led the league in RBIs 8 times, doubles 3 times, hits once. He was your typical old guy. Led the league in batting.
Where did he play?
He played from 1871 to 1897.
He was born in the 1840s or 50s?
Yeah. he was born
1852. He died in 1920.
That's crazy.
1870s to the 90s.
He's from Iowa.
So we're talking about the 70s to the 90s. Just not...
It's a great time period, 70s, 90s.
Yeah.
of the 1800s. Yeah, that's
His career batting average was .334. So, I don't know. I thought the Cubs here at the end, throwing a wild card here.
I think when I was reading about him, I think he's also has the record for most wins as a manager. So I think, wasn't he a manager player?
Oh, I think so, yeah, for a little while afterwards.
So I think he might have the franchise record for the wins as a manager, maybe.
Really?
I can't quite remember if I'm thinking of the right guy or not. I did a lot of reading on some old people today. But yeah. I could be thinking of a different guy, to be completely honest, but
Well, I feel like we need to figure this out, because that could be if you're talking about managing the Cubs, I feel like that's something else to throw out there.
I know what my phone will operate for me.
By the way, it says he plays first base, third base, and catcher.
Just picked which base you want to play at that day.
I mean, by the way, we're talking about in the mid 1800s. He was 6 foot tall and 230.
That's a big boy.
That's
Yeah.
why he was playing first and third catcher. He didn't have to run.
Well, he stole 230 bases.
I mean, in his picture, he doesn't look fat.
Or no, 277 bases, by the way.
He doesn't look fat in this picture.
No, he's just not.
No, he's just average.
I mean, I would say he looks smaller than Pud.
Yeah, oh yeah, much smaller than Pud. Pud's yeah.
But the guy played for 27 years.
Did him and Pud play each other?
27 years. Holy
Would they
cow.
play?
Yeah, they would have played in the
They would
same
have played
time.
against each other?
Yeah, I think so.
1897. Yeah, Pud would have played before that, yeah.
They're probably heated rivals.
Now, we need to find out what Cap Anson's batting average against Pud was.
If we could find that, that'd be pretty cool.
Drew, while we move on to our next 4, you need to see if you can find that.
Okay.
All right. Wade, who is your number 4 Cubs Mount Rushmore?
Well, hang on. I just pulled up what I was reading earlier about Cap
okay.
Anson. It says he was a player/manager who actually leads the Cubs franchise in managerial wins.
I'm not going to lie, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is
So,
pretty cool.
I thought that was him that I read about earlier. I just wasn't 100% sure. But, all right, let me get back to my list here. Okay, my number 4, I had a very specific reason for doing this. I put Anthony Rizzo at number 4.
Can I guess why?
Well, yeah, it's pretty obvious, I think. Yeah.
The World Series team named representative?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the most important moment in the franchise history. I feel like someone on the team should make the Mount Rushmore.
I thought that too, but I didn't know who to pick because they all left afterwards.
No, I agree. I did some pondering, but I felt like Rizzo was a fan favorite at the time, and the article that I was reading about him called him the face of the franchise at the time. And the very last sentence of this thing I was reading about him said Rizzo was also instrumental in the Cubs winning the 2016 World Series, and for that he will always be immortal in the Windy City.
Okay.
So
So here's what I want to say. I have no stats or facts to back this up. I'm just talking about the top of my head.
Mhm.
When I think of that team, I think of Chris Bryant.
Really?
I mean, Chris Bryant won the MVP. I mean,
He did
Chris,
one
you
year,
know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, he was the star-studded rookie of the year that, was made a huge deal about, and then, like, won an MVP, and he was there for the World Series also, you know what I mean? Like,
The year they won, they had like 6 All-Stars. I mean,
yeah,
they were
like,
a loaded
yeah,
team.
like Zobrist and Baez and Rizzo and Bryant, and I feel like they had a really good outfield.
They had Contreras. Do they have Contreras at catching yet?
I think, was he there?
No,
Was it before
it
him?
was the old guy.
Okay.
They're
Oh, was that?
Oh, David Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David Ross.
But
yeah.
they had they had a couple really good pitchers too, didn't they? Chapman came out of the bullpen for him that
Chapman
year.
came out
Jake
of the bullpen.
Arrieta.
Yeah, there you go.
Jake Arrieta. Yeah, he won a Cy Young while he was there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's when Chapman was the boss closer.
Except for in the
Yeah.
playoffs, he sucked.
I thought they rode him all the way to the World Series, to be honest. That
Was-
year, I don't know.
Maybe it was a different year he sucked in the playoffs. Then I don't remember. But I
been
remember
around a long
watching
time
him
now.
suck in the playoffs and Evan losing their mind.
Oh, it might have been. Because I thought they pitched him a ton, especially in the World Series. That they were putting him out there in like the 8th, and he was going like 2 innings. I don't know. Who knows? We could be mixing up years.
Anyway, I think I cut you off before you did any stats for him.
Oh, but let me flip back to where I was here. But yeah, I wanted a representative from the World Series team. I thought he was one of the top guys. I thought he was a fan favorite. All the Cub fans I knew really liked Rizzo. I saw a lot of Rizzo shirts out there. But while he was with the Cubs, he was a 3-time All-Star, won a Silver Slugger, and won 4 Gold Gloves. He even took home a Platinum Glove one of those years, so he was a terrific, terrific first baseman. He hit over 30 home runs 4 times for them, had 4 straight seasons with 100-plus RBIs. So yeah, he's not an all-time great player, but he was a really good player for the Cubs, and I thought I wanted to represent the World Series team. So okay.
He also led the league in hit by pitch 3 years.
Did he crowd? Was he one of those guys that crowded the plate all the time?
I'm going to make the assumption yes, because I mean, think about this. I mean, a lot of guys get hit by a pitch like single digits in a season. These are his seasons, all back to back: 15, 30, 16, 24, 20, 27.
Wow.
Can hit a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Until I got to reading about him, I didn't know a first baseman ever even got a Platinum Glove.
Me neither.
I didn't even know that. But I don't know. I'd never even heard of it happening, to be completely honest.
So what?
It must have snuck in there. This article I have on Anthony Rizzo talks about him winning a Platinum Glove.
I mean, it's
at
here
first
on
base.
Baseball Reference.
Yeah. I just never remember hearing about it. That kind of caught me off guard.
I mean, the reason we put you at first base is because you can't field positions.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so it is weird to have them win a Platinum Glove.
Yeah, normally first basemen
I don't know.
don't.
I remember him being a really good
He's
first
a
baseman.
decent first baseman.
I just
He
didn't
wasn't
remember him being like otherworldly, like winning a Platinum Glove. But
not good enough to beat the other 8 positions.
yeah, I don't know. I just found that curious because I didn't remember it.
I mean, you would assume that majority of Platinum Gloves would go to up the middle guys, catchers, shortstops, center fielders. You
Yeah.
do have some third basemen and second basemen that are really great defenders, but
Yeah. Or
like-
catchers, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, catchers, third base. Yeah. Yeah, I just found that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Him having a Platinum Glove, but I'm done with Rizzo.
So, by the way, we're talking about Rizzo. We talked about Chris Bryant. Like, why do you think the Cubs let both of those guys go?
I don't know what was going on after that World Series.
I don't
game.
know why
really
they
don't.
did that. That was just
Well, Chris Bryant's kind of fallen off a cliff, so they kind of made the right move in the long run. I mean, he looked like a superstar then, so I would agree hanging on to him at that time would have been a smart move. But hasn't he kind of fallen off a cliff?
He has, but at the same time, he's playing with like a AAA roster in Denver. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, how much of it is him, and how
Yeah.
much of it is, first off, how much of it is he doesn't care because they
Yeah.
suck so bad, and he's not playing with real major leaguers half the time. And how much of it is like I have no protection in the lineup, and how much of it is, I mean, he is old, so he was gonna age and things like that. I'm not saying he was never gonna get worse or anything. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it's not like the Cubs have like traded them for a bunch of prospects and like got really good afterwards. They just let Chris Bryant walk.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said earlier, all those big guys left that from that World Series team.
Yeah, Baez is in Detroit. Rizzo's a Yankee. Bryant is in Colorado. And where'd Russell go? Because like Russell and Baez were like the two top shortstop prospects in all of baseball, and they're both in the Cubs organization, and then they both came up, and then they played one at short and one at second.
Where was Zobrist at that time?
Well, Zobrist did play second because I think was it Russell got hurt that year. He did something and didn't play.
I don't remember where he went.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. But it's just weird. They had this World Series team, and the World Series team that was young. Like, none of them were old, except for maybe Zobrist.
He was probably older.
People thought the Cubs were going to be good for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure Chapman left shortly after that, too.
Yeah, he's been jumping around. Probably with the Yankees.
Well, Chapman's biggest thing is, like, you know, he got in trouble with the domestic violence stuff, and then, like, teams don't want to commit
to a big
to him.
contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understandable.
All right, well, I will we will move on from Anthony Rizzo.
I can't find anything game statistics.
Oh,
I can't go. They don't have stats for each game.
Yeah, you're probably right. We're all talking about the 1800s.
But they both did play in the National League, though, so they would have played each other a lot. I can't. There's just not enough.
Been epic battles.
Gotcha. All right, well, Uncle Doug, who would be your number 4 member of the Mount Rushmore for the Cubbies?
My number 4 is Fergie Jenkins.
He's also my number 4.
All right. Yeah, he was the very popular Cub for a long time. They loved him in Chicago. Won a Cy Young there. He's in the Hall of Fame. 3-time All-Star. Had 167 wins with the Cubs. 3.2 ERA. 2,038 strikeouts. I think he was with the Cubs for about 10 years.
Yes, that's 10 years here.
So,
by the way, this is one of those things I struggle with as a fan. I'm not a fan of Fergie Jenkins per se, just as a fan of sports, though. Like, he ended his career with 284 wins. Like, you got so close, bro. Like, you couldn't have stuck it out for another season or two and tried to get there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know he could have been hurt for all I know. But I'm just saying, like, you're so close, man. Like, you need 16 wins.
Just a couple quality starts.
Yeah, like,
There's a couple of baseball players that are like right up against the 500 home run club, dude. And I'm just like, he could have came back for half a season. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like Fred McGriff's like
yeah,
really
Fred
close.
McGriff, yeah.
There's a couple more right there with him, and it's just like, I mean, you need maybe 120 more at bats, and you probably would have got there. Just,
Ugh. Sorry, I keep yawning.
I don't blame you. It's been that kind of Sunday.
I feel you.
Well, I mean, I woke up this morning in Wisconsin, so
That's fair.
yeah.
But yeah, Fergie Jenkins, man, I've always heard, like, I guess this is the closest thing Cubs fans have to like an all-time great pitcher. You know, because that was always the thing is, you know, when Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor were coming up is, you know, are they going to be as good as Fergie? Are they going to be as good as Fergie? And then they both fizzled out with injuries and stuff.
They had Maddox for a while.
Yeah, he started his Cy Young reign there, didn't he?
Both ends
Yeah,
of his
he did
career.
win a Cy Young there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's remembered as a Brave. Though.
No, yeah, he's
Oh,
definitely
yeah,
remembered as
sure.
Brave, but
He got what?
they had a little glimpse.
Three Cy Youngs as a Brave in a World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he actually was with the Cubs longer than people think, though.
No, he was there a lot.
I
Yeah,
think,
he's
I think it was like 6 seasons or something. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, and he's got a Cy Young.
there.
He
ring.
had 113 wins as the Cubs, so.
When I was growing up,
Figure.
that Zambrano guy was their go-to pitcher, and he
Oh,
was pretty good there for a little bit, but he didn't have anywhere near the longevity of some of these guys. But he was a good, solid pitcher.
We also got to think about this, though, too. Like we just talked about, the Cubs were so bad for so long. How many pitchers do they have there that might have been really good but never got any run support and never got any wins? And,
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
if the wind's blowing out, doesn't matter how good you are, they're going to beat you up.
And if your team sucks, people don't want to play there. If you have
Yeah.
a losing culture, people don't want to go there. They're not
Yeah.
going to sign with you in free agency. You know, they're not going to sign a long-term contract with you if they trade for you, you know.
Yeah, the best thing it had going for him was Harry Carey for like 50 years.
Yeah.
By the way, in 71 when Fergie got the Cy Young, he pitched 39 games and 30 of them he threw complete games.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It is.
Old pitching, the new pitching is just crazy. How much we baby pitchers nowadays is wild.
With an ERA of 2.77, which is the lowest ERA of his career. All right, well, just two of us had Fergie. All right, Ray, you're the last one to go with your 4. What do you got? Who you got for your number 4?
I went with Ron Santo.
He's my number 3.
He's my number 3.
He's my number
Okay.
3.
He's my number 3.
Oh, hey, Ron's in.
Ron's in.
And I will say that I'm just going to preface Ron Santo right here, right now. I think Ron Santo in Cubs Nation is severely overrated. But he was a good player,
Right.
and Cubs fans are obsessed with this man.
Yeah.
Like, that's really why I put him on my list, because I was going to not put him on my list. But, like, Cubs fans are just absolutely positively obsessed with this man.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't get it. Like, it's not like we're talking about Ernie Banks here. Like, we're talking about, like, a good third baseman.
Didn't he get held out of the Hall of Fame for quite a while? I think he's in, but I don't think he got in, like, in the 2000s.
We can figure out what year.
Yeah, he's in right now.
Yeah,
he's in.
He's in. I just think I thought he had to
Hall
wait.
of Fame class of 2012.
So he had to wait a while. Because he
Yeah.
played in, what,
Yeah.
60s, 70s, something like that?
Yeah.
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 So, I mean,
1960 to 74.
if
Yeah,
they
I
made
mean-
him wait that long,
I mean,
he's-
he does have 5 Gold Gloves, so I'm going to just go out on a limb and say he was a really good fielding third baseman.
I've seen multiple videos of people talking about him being a good
But I
third
mean,
baseman.
he has 2,200 hits and a batting average of 277, so nothing super special. He had 340 home runs, yeah, not super special. Like 1,100 runs, 1,300 RBIs, didn't steal bases. His OPS is 826, which isn't bad, but it's not like, oh my goodness. Like I just don't know where the like, oh my gosh, this is like an all-time great for a franchise that's been around for 200 years. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand the obsession with Ron Santo.
I mean, honestly, when you just read off his stats, they're almost identical to Scott Rowland's, and everyone was just mad about Scott Rowland. But Scott Rowland had like 4 more Gold Gloves than him,
Yeah.
so at least Scott Rowland had a ton of Gold Gloves.
When you were talking about him wait for the Hall of Fame, he was actually voted in by the Golden Era Committee.
Oh, so he didn't even make
Which is the old timers that can
Right.
vote you in if they feel that the writer screwed up.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the writers didn't even put him in.
Yeah. So he didn't even get in the regular vote.
But we were talking about the Cubs. So.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
by the
very
way,
popular.
do you know who started and invented the Old Timers Club?
Oh boy.
Is it a Yankee?
Billy Williams, the Cubs outfielder that played with Ron Santo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So maybe that has something to do with Ron Santo being in the Hall.
That's good. Yeah.
Interesting.
well, for as much as we bashed on this guy, he got 5 votes. He's getting.
He's there.
He did.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope I didn't, rain on your parade here, Ray. Maybe you're a big Ron Santo fan. I don't know.
No.
Well, he did lead the league in triples once,
Hey.
and he led the league in walks 4 times, and he led the league in on-base percentage twice. He also led the league in ground in and double plays twice, and he led the league in sacrifice flies 3 times.
Okay.
He played for the White Sox for a year. I didn't realize that. I thought he was a career Cubby, and he was the voice of the Cubs for a long time. Yeah, he might still be for all I know. I don't listen to Cubs games much anymore.
No. I don't listen to Cubs games unless they're playing the Cardinals.
I used to watch a lot of Cubs games because I would just turn baseball games on whenever they were on, and of course we get Cubs games all the damn time. But lately, you don't know what you're going to get because everybody's in a fight with the damn cable company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
I mean, how many years has the Cardinals been in a fight with Fox
it's been
Sports.
years.
Right.
It's supposed to have been 5-6 years at this point.
Oh yeah.
Like you never
You used
know
to
when you're
watch-
gonna get a Cardinal game.
You used to watch
When we was
Cardinals.
little, we watched the Cardinals all the time.
We watch Cardinals every
We had
night.
Fox Sports Midwest.
We'd
It was
say-
on every night.
I mean, that's what Mom did when
Yep.
we were younger. Mom would just put it on the TV every night during the summer.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what we'd watch baseball. Cardinals every night. Now I watch other teams probably more than the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Whatever was on Sunday
And if the
night.
Cardinals are
Yeah,
on,
whoever,
it's blacked out.
It's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, whoever's on ESPN is normally who I watch more. Like I probably watch more of probably like the Braves and the Dodgers and everybody because
I mean,
that's just who's popular and that's who's
Yeah.
on.
This is
yeah. If it's
Actu-
ESPN,
yeah.
they're gonna grab the big dogs.
me and a couple other baseball fans I know were having a big discussion about this. Baseball is just so awful at marketing itself. Baseball is stupid. Like first off, okay, so most of my family is on the whole side are Red Sox fans, okay, and a lot of them pay for the package where you can watch all the Red Sox games.
Right.
Okay? But even when you're paying for that package, if they're playing somebody that's in our market, they black it out.
Yep.
What's our market in baseball? What's our range?
Cubs, White Sox, Royals, Cardinals. I think that's it. But that's 4 teams, man.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, that's
we
true, yeah.
remember
And
NBA League Pass. We had a
Yeah.
bunch of trouble with that.
Yeah,
I had to
but-
go to Miami to watch it.
Yeah, Ray lives in
do,
Miami.
do you know if I'm at a game and I record something that happens during a game, like a highlight or something, or if somebody sends me a highlight and I post it on social media, baseball either tells you to take it down or they'll sue you. You can't post highlights unless you have Major League Baseball permission. That's the only sport that does that.
Oh.
The NBA encourages you because they're like, oh, that's promotion for us. That's
right.
you know,
It's
that's
all
great.
over social
Baseball,
media,
yeah,
Big Dunk.
exactly. You know how many young kids, like Drew's age and younger, that are like, they don't watch games, but they know what's going on because they watch all these highlight packages.
Yeah.
They watch, you know, they will look at the scores and everything, the highlights. You can't do that in baseball because
Right.
like, unless you're following specific baseball reporters that have permission. Sorry, you don't get to see them.
It's really just dumb.
It's
Like,
super
Baseball
dumb.
just finds dumb ways to hurt themselves all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling.
And they're about to be the only sport on for about 2 or 3 months, and they wonder why people don't watch even when they're
Right.
the only one.
No one really cares the past handful of years.
As soon as basketball gets
people-
over, and then it's just people are like, oh, I guess no sports till football. The countdown starts.
Yeah, they're just waiting for the football preseason games.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just wait until late August.
Well, poor Ron Santo. We just
We
bashed on
bashed him.
gave him some stats, and then changed the
but
subject.
he's unanimous.
Yeah, he's in it.
All right. Well, I haven't gone yet, so I'll go. But is that everybody? Oh wait, no, that's not even true. Does anybody have a 3 left?
Santo was my.
That was
three.
everybody's
my
3 except
three.
for Ray.
I got a 3.
Oh, who's your
Okay.
3?
I put Sammy Sosa.
Oh,
Oh,
I actually thought long and hard about Sammy.
old Sammy.
I almost threw him on at 4, Ray.
Another character.
I almost got him.
he's a character.
I mean, he did bring a lot of attention to the Cubs for quite a few years when they
He very much so.
he
did.
made them extremely relevant for a while.
Yeah.
Well, Ray, you got this. You want me to do it?
I mean, I can throw some stats and then we can expand.
All right,
I
go
got a
for it.
couple stats.
He's got an MVP, 7-time All-Star, Home Run Derby champ, 6-time Silver Slugger, Major League Player of the Year, 2,400 plus hits, 609 home runs with a career batting average of 273,
And 1 cork bat.
and a partridge in a pear tree,
And lots of syringes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a lot of body whitening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize he had done that until they came out with that documentary, the something summer with him and
Long
McGuire.
Gone Summer, yeah.
And when first time he came up on the screen, I was like, "What is wrong with
Yeah.
Sammy?" Like I thought he was sick or something. I thought like
No, yeah.
you know that
yeah.
you get that people sometimes get that disease where it like bleaches out their skin or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're like, no, he did it on purpose. And I was like, what? Why?
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
that shit was the
But,
weirdest
yeah.
thing I seen that day.
The Cubs have just treated Sammy terrible after everything's come out about him.
Yeah.
By the way, you want to hear something that's really stupid about Sammy? Is that he hit 60 home runs 3 times in his career. Okay,
Yeah.
but none of those 3 times did he lead the league in home runs.
Oh, geez.
Well, the one year was the McGuire year. I'm sure
Yeah,
another
he hit
one.
66 the same year McGuire hit 70. And then the same year that Bonds hit 73, he hit 64.
Oh, jeez.
So the only question is the year he hit 63, who hit more than him?
McGuire have another year after that.
I think McGuire's body broke down quickly after that,
Yeah,
so I don't
it wasn't
know.
long after that.
I'm trying to think of who would have.
Yeah, who would have?
Mark McGuire.
Oh,
no.
it was, okay.
McGuire hit 65. Is that not a stupid stat though? Only like what 6, 7 guys in the history of baseball have hit 60 home runs. Sosa did it 3 times and never led the league in home runs.
And never let
They all did it. Well, they all did it at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Ruth, and way long ago. Then Maris,
Right.
20 years later, and then we had to wait all that time until McGuire and Sosa did it back-to-back seasons,
Right.
and then you had Bonds and Sosa do it again together. But that's still only
Yeah.
5 guys. And then what?
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge did it.
Yeah, just recently.
Is that it?
That's it.
So only 6 guys have ever done it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And-
Sosa's done it 3 times.
And Sosa did it 3 times, but none of those 3 seasons did he lead the league in home runs.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, Sammy Sosa was the shit.
He
I mean,
was,
I know he
yeah.
cheated, and he deserves his punishment and all that, but he was the shit. People went to baseball games to watch Sammy Sosa, and that was a big deal back in the day.
Yeah. Again, the Cubs weren't great, but
No.
we wanted to go see if Sammy was going to hit a home run.
Yeah, everyone wanted to see Sammy and McGuire.
Well, and they wanted to see not just Sammy during the game; they wanted to see Sammy during batting practice, because he hit some bombs.
He was a big character in baseball for a while, and then obviously it all turned badly.
I want you to listen to this, okay? Like, just listen to the stats, okay? This is 2001, so this is the year that Barry hit 73.
Okay.
Okay? Sosa led the league with 146 runs. 146 runs is a lot of runs. He had 189 hits, 34 doubles, and 5 triples. He hit 64 home runs. He had 160 RBIs, which led the league. He had 116 walks. He batted .328. He had an on-base percentage of .437, a slugging percentage of .737. His OPS was 1174.
Pretty gnarly.
But then Barry's is probably like 14.
You're probably right.
Because Barry broke all those records.
The thing is, Sammy was so little too. Like
He was when he first came in the league.
When he first came up.
Well, I mean, he got bigger with the stuff. I mean, like compared to Mark McGuire and Barry Bonds.
Well, he's a lot shorter.
Mark
But he
McGuire.
wasn't necessarily smaller. He got yoked.
He did.
Like right
by
here.
the end, he's not.
Yeah, like they have him listed at 165 on here, which is probably what he weighed when he came in the
He
league.
came in the league. Yeah.
Well, when you look at the big name guys that got caught, A-Rod was in his younger years was still phenomenal, and then he hopped on it in Texas. McGuire was big as shit before steroids. Obviously, it helped him, but he was big boy. Barry Bonds was a first ballot Hall of Famer before steroids. Rafael Palmeiro was probably going to be close to a Hall of Famer before steroids. Sosa was really not much of anything,
No.
and then he got on juice and just he's the biggest example of steroids helping you, or at least that's the way it looks when you look at his numbers.
The other ones, the rest of them could already hit a bunch of home runs and stuff like that. But
They just wanted more. They were greedy.
Here's the beginning of his career with home runs, okay? 4, 1, 3, 15, 10, 8.
And then
And then 33.
and then it keeps going up into the 60s.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why he's one of the main examples of steroids.
The other guys, they already hit home runs, but you take this guy who hit 1 home run, 4 home runs, and now he hits 64.
Yeah. Like if McGuire didn't take steroids, I bet he still would have been a big, powerful guy. We knew Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds already had 3 or 4 MVPs before he took steroids.
Mm-hmm.
A-Rod probably would have been. A-Rod was a generational talent. He was just a douche. But he still probably would have been a Hall of Fame shortstop. Like I said, Palmeiro was.
Palmeiro was going to be a Hall of Fame.
He was a great all-around player.
Yeah.
Very.
he took that stuff because he was chasing records at the end of his career.
It was like
Yeah.
40 when he got
Yeah,
caught.
yeah,
So
exactly.
like you're probably right. He
Trying to
probably was
hold
already a
on.
Hall of Famer when he
Yeah.
tried to take him, but then he got it's kind of
Well,
crazy.
here's my thing though. I will tell you this. Jeremy and I went back and I'm trying to remember what year it was. I think what year was the All-Star game at Fenway?
It's a 99 or 98.
Something like that.
It's
okay.
the year. It's the year Pedro has that great year.
Yeah, I think you're right. I
it's
think
that
it's
year.
99. Yeah. That you have the when Ted Williams gets brought out in the golf cart and all like the players come out and surround him and are talking to him and everything. The biggest looking at it just in a recent times. Like at the time, I didn't think anything about it other than Ted Williams is out in the field. Look how much these guys respect Ted Williams. But I was watching it and I couldn't get over how fucking gigantic all the players were.
Yeah,
They make guys that play. Aaron Judge would have been a normal fucking guy walking around with those guys. They were all ginormous. They were all shredded and ripped out of their minds.
Yep.
Mark McGuire's forearms were bigger than my legs.
Mark McGuire was fucking huge.
Right.
To see him in person, he was huge.
That's a big man swinging a
But
bat.
even Sammy and
Barry.
Barry
See if I can
and,
find this
and
picture.
all those guys are so huge. I'm like,
Yep.
no, we always talk about today's athletes are bigger, stronger, faster. The fuck they are.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Well, to an extent,
Roger Clemens, he wasn't buff, but he big.
He was very big. His,
very
his
big.
legs are like tree trunks.
Yeah.
Man. He is. Very, I don't doubt that he was super strong. Yeah, he wasn't he didn't have the
definition.
and stuff that some of these other guys did. But yeah, Clemens is a big dude.
He was just big and powerful.
Yeah. Oh, Canseco.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Canseco's huge, or was huge. I think he still is.
And you had all these huge guys, and you had like Griffey and Nomar over there by themselves.
I don't know. Nomar was pretty yoked himself, really.
He was in great shape, but as far as like size wise, he ain't
No, the other one,
270 over here.
the other one that stands out is Tony Gwynn because he's fat.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
over there batting 370. Just
Right, yeah.
I don't need no steroids. You get base hit every time, baby.
No, but it was just these guys are so huge. And it makes you think how did we not see this shit?
I know.
They were just telling us over and over again, oh, we just lift weights. Old guys didn't lift weights. Well, I go to the gym all the time, motherfucker. I don't look like that.
Steroids were kind of hidden to the public eye at that point. They didn't really start coming out to be really prominent until the past decade. Because I think back then, for a long time, people at that point still thought Arnold Schwarzenegger was natural. They thought Sylvester Stallone was natural.
oh yeah, Sylvester.
Steroids
Look
were
at the Rocky movies.
yeah.
The way he slowly just turned
Go from Rocky 1
to
it's
4.
either 1 to 2 or 2 to 3.
2 to 3.
There is a
Yeah.
huge difference.
Huge.
And even from 3 to 4 is bad.
He goes from really good shape to professional bodybuilder with veins coming out of every inch of his body, and it's just
Yeah,
oh.
or look at him in Cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good one.
Mhm.
Dolph Lundgren,
Yeah,
another.
Dolph Lundgren.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone thought all those guys, steroids just weren't prominent, and they were hidden by these.
Oh, you had to be rich. To
Yes,
do
yeah,
it. Yeah.
Well,
So,
wasn't there a bunch of legal things with steroids back
Right.
then?
That's what McGuire took.
Yeah.
He took something called Andro.
which everybody still takes. I know 4 or 5 guys personally that take Andro.
Right.
It's just you can't get caught with it anymore.
Yeah.
But McGuire had it in his locker in the stadium because it wasn't illegal in baseball.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
and that's like you said. You talk about him breaking down. Well, that's when it became illegal and the whole thing
Well,
blew up. He
that's-
quit taking it.
That's
And
that's the thing with steroids, man. Is yes, it does make you stronger. Yes,
Sure.
you can do these things with it. But the real huge benefit to professional athletes is recovery.
yes,
You're good as new again the next day.
Yeah.
You can lift the same body part every single day because your body just recovers, lickety split.
well, and
like-
recovery from injuries.
Yes, and recovery from
Well,
injuries.
that's why-
It makes you come back so much faster.
That's
from
why
an injury.
McGuire started taking it.
Yeah.
His trainer said this will make you feel better.
Well-
Come back sooner.
I mean, Barry had the best years of his career in years 15.
Yeah.
he didn't all of a sudden find the fountain of youth. He took steroids and he was able to work out more and recover faster and feel younger, and his joints felt better, and it gave him his explosiveness back, and like there's lots of benefits.
Well, he
to
took
that.
it a step beyond the steroids to the human growth hormone.
Yeah.
That always
Which
blows
is
my
something
mind.
that Stallone was big into,
Yes.
was the human growth
That
hormone.
always blows
You
my
can always
mind.
tell because when people start taking growth hormone, their facial structure changes. You
Yeah.
can see it in their
Well,
face.
it's like Bonds with head growing 2 hat sizes.
Yeah. At age 36, your head does not grow.
yeah.
2 hat sizes.
Like have you seen Zac Efron the past year or two?
Yeah.
His jaw is expanded and it's much more prominent and sticks out, and you see what he looks like right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for that. Like
What is
you know,
that movie he just made?
Iron
Wrestler
Claw.
movie
Iron
or
Claw,
something?
yeah.
It's a good movie. At least I liked it, but
Oh, the
he's-
Iron Claw.
He is jacked out of his
Well,
goddamn mind.
He's also super jacked and cut up for
Baywatch.
Baywatch too, but Roadhouse. He just remade Roadhouse,
Yeah.
did?
Oh,
Yeah.
and he is like the whole movie's got a shirt off,
Yeah.
or he gets ripped off in his fight or whatever. But he there's a scene in the I'm not trying to sound weird, but like there's a scene in the movie where he's sleeping, but he's like laying in bed, but he's got like his arms behind his head, and like you can see every striation in the chest and abs, and everything. The guy is just super shredded, super shredded.
Yeah. Steroids can do some crazy stuff.
Or by the way, like Pain and Gain, you can't
Oh
tell
my
me
God.
any of those guys weren't juicing.
Well,
They were
first of
all
all,
juiced as
The
hell.
Rock's been on juice for decades.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
we don't have to hide that.
Well, I mean, I fully believe it out of Wahlberg. I fully
Yeah.
believe it out. What's the Anthony Mackie?
Mm.
All those guys were so huge in that,
That-
movie,
that is
and
the
they've
biggest-
never been that huge
Yeah,
ever.
Wahlberg's never been that big before,
No.
and he's never been that big since.
No.
Well, wasn't the movie all about all three juice heads robbing a bank?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah,
Well, we're not insulting what they're trying doing it for. We're just saying don't hide it. Like,
Yeah.
don't tell
Yeah.
people you're natural when you're clearly not.
right.
I would say when people do it for like movies and stuff, it's not that big a deal.
No,
It's
there
just
for-
when you do it for sports.
they're making millions of dollars to look that way. I'd do it too if someone said, "Hey, I'll give you $5 million to make this movie, but I need you to look really jacked."
Right.
I'd be like, "Sure,
Yeah.
yeah."
Exactly.
Especially if you're rich, you can be monitored by doctors,
Yep.
and then get your blood work done. You can do
Mhm.
it the right way and do it safely. But there's
Yep.
ways to make it safer.
Yes.
It's not necessarily safe, but it's safer. Like it's yeah.
Especially with a lot of these guys we're talking about. They're done having kids. They've already had their kids. They don't have to worry about that. Like all those things. Like like Wade said. If like, by the way, I would do. There was a lot of things I would do for $5 or $10 million that
Yeah.
I wouldn't do right now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
anyway, we've gotten a long ways from Sammy Sosa. So, but Sammy got. Is there anything else we need to say about Sammy before we move on?
I think we've said enough.
I think we've got
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll come back around to old Sammy here in a while.
All right. Well, so that's everybody's number 3 now, right?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So my number two, is Ryan Sandberg.
Mine too.
Yep, mine too.
Mine too.
Makes 5.
That's pretty
So,
easy.
he is in. You know what bugs me the most about Sandberg? It's the way he spells his Ryan.
It is odd.
Yeah.
How do you spell
Yeah.
it?
It's like Ryan.
Ryne,
Okay, so I spelled it right.
which is just, it doesn't even look like it should say Ryan.
No, that doesn't.
Like,
It should be like Ryan.
yeah,
Yeah,
or
I agree.
Rhiney or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
When I first look at it, I think Ryan.
Yeah, I think
what
Ryan,
Bruce said. Yeah.
So you do pronounce it Ryan?
Yeah, it's Ryan.
Yeah, it's Ryan
Yeah,
Sandberg.
it's Ryan
yeah.
Sandberg.
Anyway, Ryan Sandberg, Hall of Famer, 1-time MVP, 10-time All-Star, 9-time Gold Glover, 7-time Silver Slugger. He is beloved by Cubs fans.
Mm-hmm.
He is an all-time second baseman. Did he make our top 3?
We talked about him,
talked
but we
about
didn't.
him.
I think he was like our number 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I knew we talked about him. I couldn't remember if he made the list or not.
I think Ray had him. And I think Ray. And maybe one other person. Maybe. I can't remember.
Okay.
I know we talked about him though.
Yeah, we definitely talked about him for sure. And he played 15 years in Chicago, 1 year in Philly, which I was not aware of until, maybe forgot, but I thought he was a career Cubby. But he played.
I think he got traded from the Phillies. Like the Phillies drafted him, and then they traded him to the Cubs.
Yeah, he played
and then-
his
yeah.
first year with only 13 games with the Phillies.
Yep.
But he was the face of the Cubs franchise for a while. He was really their only good player for some seasons in there. He would have played. He played with Andre Dawson, and he would have. Did he cross over with Sammy at the end? I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he would have.
He was there through.
Had to be.
Yeah, he was there. For
Yeah,
like 80
yeah. He retired the year before the home run chase.
Yeah. I thought a cool thing. He's a second baseman. He won a home run derby.
Yeah, he
I
did.
thought that's pretty badass.
Yeah, normally second basemen don't.
Yeah, like when's the last time you saw one win one? Did Robinson Cano maybe win one?
He might have snuck one in, but other than that, bro.
Other than that, I can't really think of one even winning. But I just thought it was kind of cool.
Cano even win one? I'm trying to think.
I remember
What's
Cano
Soriano?
competing. Ooh, he would have been a good one.
Yeah, 'cause
But-
he's 40-40.
He was only a second baseman for a couple of years, wasn't he? Then he got moved to outfield.
Yeah, that's what I
He
I
moved
thought
to the outfield. He moved to the outfield once he went to Washington, I think.
I don't remember when it was. I
'cause
know he
when he
transitioned
when
at
he
some
played
point.
when he played for the Yankees, he was second, and he played for the Rangers, he was a second. Like, yeah, I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, by the way, this is another guy. Not trying to like, if this year comes up later, we would probably talk about it. But this is the guy that just looking at, I'd probably take as MVP. I don't know, but I feel like somebody did better than this. Really. He had better seasons though. Like his, I don't know.
Well, it could have been a combination of. I mean, was it during his Gold Glove run?
He did win a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger this year.
Okay. I mean, it's not. Some people just factor in defense more than others. I feel like. They just want to give love to a second baseman.
I mean, it's true. They could have. But,
What were his numbers that year?
he had 114 runs, 200 hits, 19 home runs, 84 RBIs. He did steal 32 bases. He batted 314, 367, 520 for an 887 OPS.
That didn't really sound like MVP.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a good season.
it's really good all around numbers.
Yeah.
It's just. Sometimes it's hard to beat the guys that are going for like 45 homers and 140 RBIs.
right.
you know?
Yeah.
Well, I will say this: another Gold Glover, which is considered a phenomenal fielder, hit 36 home runs and had 106 RBIs that season, both leading the league. And
What year was this?
This is 84. And he also led the league with a 919 OPS.
And he didn't win MVP.
Yeah, he came in 7th.
7.
That was Mike Schmidt.
Oh. Was the Phillies bad or something?
It must have been.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Holy cow.
Yeah, he was an amazing third baseman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right on that one.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Who knows? It's guys like Sandberg and like Wade Boggs and stuff. I know I've said this before, but they were viewed differently back then. Like, I don't know. Guys that played good defense or guys that had really big batting average, they were more prominent characters back in the day than they are thought of now.
Well, I can tell you, when you tell me that Sandberg got 9 Gold Gloves, I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. Because I can remember being mad about him getting Gold Gloves back then because he wasn't that good defensively. He got it because he hit well.
Is it like the Jeter effect?
I guess.
Like Jeter's got like 5, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he didn't make a lot of errors because he had no range.
Going
I'm a
in.
Cardinal fan, so maybe I'm biased, but I just remember thinking, he got another Gold Glove? Why the heck? I don't know.
But I guess here's my thing. I agree with you, Wade. They were viewed very differently. But if you're going to give it to a guy that was going to hit a good average and, run around the bases and everything, well, I got a guy for you right here.
I'm not saying he deserves that.
No,
I'm
but
just saying
listen to this. He hit 351
Ooh.
with 33 stolen bases,
I think who it is.
led the league with 213 hits, and had a OPS that is barely below Sandberg's, and that's Tony Gwynn.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I should have guessed that. Tony
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's a great guess.
Yeah. Anytime you hear a high batting average, throw Gwynn out.
And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna guess the Cubs weren't that good this year.
Yeah, I guess you're
probably
probably
an educated guess.
Yeah.
And I bet the Padres might have been good. Because they made a couple World Series, and
Yeah.
because they beat the Braves a couple of years.
I mean, both of them went through stretches where they weren't very good, so it's possible they weren't good either. But I'm going to bet the Mike Schmidt Phillies were good.
I would think.
Who knows? But
His MVP season, the Cubs didn't win 96 games, so I was wrong.
Okay.
No.
I mean, he's just a big popular guy. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and he was a
People
good
will
player.
give you stuff.
There's
yeah.
no doubt.
I'm not trying to say he shouldn't have been a Hall of Famer or is not a great second baseman, because he is.
Right.
He is. I
Definitely.
just don't know if this season he was the MVP.
Right.
Now, he has a season down here where he hits 40 fucking home runs, drives in 100 RBIs, and still hits 306. Like, and leads the league in total bases, leads the league in runs, leads the league in home runs. Like, that looks like an MVP season to me.
Was that later or before?
This is like 8 years later.
Oh, I was say maybe it was a makeup MVP, but if that's later, then it doesn't make any sense.
He loses the MVP to Barry Bonds.
Shocker. Although he still managed to lead the league in like 5 different things. I don't know. Who knows? MVPs in all sports are fucked up.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
That's why we do our MVP segment.
Yeah.
It's fun to do.
Now I'm curious. Now I kind of want to like dig into his defense. Because it's not like I watched him play. I just based it off of his
why
gloves.
don't every single one of us text a baseball fan just that are not the same and be like, what do you think of Ryan Sandberg? Somebody that was alive that would have seen it.
Okay.
And been like, what do you think of Ryan Sandberg's defense? And see what they say.
I don't care.
I mean, I'll text somebody.
I'm just
I
trying
got
to
to
think of
find
the
someone
right
who I know that's alive. That would've-
I don't say
I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of who to text.
I don't know who I'd text.
I'll text my dad. He was a big baseball fan, and
Yeah.
he'll tell me.
I guess I could text our other parent. She would have watched.
Yeah.
Interesting. I bet there's actually like more cases of that throughout history than we think. Like,
I'm sure there is.
because like with our generation, we bag on Jeter for it all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's true. It's true.
Yeah,
He's not that
that's why,
great.
that's why I'm so curious about it right
Like
now.
his dumb
Like,
play against the A's where he catches it and throws it, the ball would have got there just as fast.
Yeah.
There was no point in him running by throwing.
He did the jump throw. That was his go-to move at shortstop, Jeter. He did that jump throw all the time because it looked cool, but
It didn't really do much.
they broke it down one point. They're like, he has to do it because he doesn't get in position in time because his range isn't actually that great. So he's still like reaching out and having to do that just because he just can't get over there as fast as the guys that are really good.
Yeah,
So it was. I'm just curious, like how many guys throughout history are kind of like this. They got like a
I
defensive
wonder.
reputation when maybe it's not deserved. I just find some of that stuff curious. What do you think, Ray?
I'm trying to think of somebody to text.
Well, I would text also. I would just tell you to text Uncle Randy, but and Kathy's in the hospital, so I don't want to bother.
I got you.
What's up?
I looked up. I just put in Ryan Sandberg's defense,
Oh gosh.
and there's a story on ESPN from one of their senior writers.
Well, here we go.
It says last week, and I won't mention the person's name, had a byline, was in town, and he had dinner with this person. And she mentioned the worst play she ever saw when Ryan Sandberg threw the ball to first base, as the winning run scored from third. That led to a discussion about his defense.
funny.
This person thought Sandberg's defense was overrated. He won 9 straight Gold Gloves from 83 to 91. A key reason he got into the Hall of Fame without much difficulty. His defensive metrics on Baseball Reference are solid, with a plus 60 fielding runs above average, which puts him 23rd among second basemen. So, but the argument was that Sandberg wasn't good at turning the double play. In fact, Cubs shortstop Sean Dunston was often irritated because Sandberg often took the forced play and stepped towards left field rather than trying to complete the double play.
That would piss me off too.
Yeah.
Did he have a terrible arm or something? Like he couldn't turn the double play because of his arm? Because that's a pretty a lot of guys are slow up the first baseline. You can turn a double play if you can make the throw, which It's 90. We're talking about 90 feet here.
I mean, like all of his prime, or most of it, was like before I was born. Or
Yeah,
like, or I was like a
I
small,
haven't
small
seen any of
child.
it, so I have no
I mean,
idea.
sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. This guy just goes on to say, he said, you didn't have the internet back then, and Sandberg's reputation was strong in Chicago. So this guy decided to, some guy named Bill James, and is posting on Bill James Online, was doing defense. And he did a historical overview of defense, developed a new rating system. He started with catcher and worked his way up. Under his new system, he credits Sandberg with 0 Gold Gloves.
Oh, wow. Took them all away, huh?
Doesn't rate him as a bad second baseman, just not the best in any single year. And that's kind of the way I felt. I mean, I thought he was decent.
Well,
But I didn't think he had the range or did some of the things the other guys did.
That's what Mom already texted me back. She just texted me back, and she just said she thought he was a good defender. Like he played second base fairly well.
I mean, what other second baseman during that time period would there have been?
That's true too. His competition.
What other National League second baseman would have been in the league? I guess is my question. I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
Let me look. I'll go with the Gold Gloves.
Well, by the way, to give some context, Bill James is also the guy that pretty much convinced an entire generation of baseball fans that situational things are flukes and not skill or anything.
Did you see me look over when he said that name?
Yeah,
Because I knew that name from somewhere, and I was like, what is that name
I thought
from?
I knew it too, but I didn't know anything about him. So
yeah.
he's
He's the one that was like clutch. I mean, to an extent, there is some of that, but like clutch doesn't exist, and like having a high batting average of runners in scoring position is a fluke, and like all that stuff, or like everything's due to chance. Nothing is due to
Everything's like circumstantial.
Yeah, circumstantial. Yeah.
There's so many wild theories with all these different ways of making. I don't know. It's all confusing.
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten sidetracked on almost every single person we've said today.
Sorry.
No, we've all taken turns. That's all right.
Yeah, I haven't got a text return, so.
Yeah.
But anyway, can I just go out on a limb here and say that everybody's number one is Ernie Banks?
Yeah, he's my number one.
No doubt.
I mean, isn't his nickname Mr. Cub?
Yeah.
Mr. Cub, yeah. Well, it's kind of sweet. We got 3 unanimous.
It is. It kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And we spent probably 30 minutes shitting on 2 of them.
I don't want to. I really don't. I don't want it to come across like I don't like Ryan Sandberg.
Oh, me too.
I think he's a really good player. I think he was a Hall of Famer. I really do.
Yeah. I would not doubt his Hall of Fame case at all. And he was a solid, great hitting second baseman.
Mm-hmm.
I just think his defense was overrated.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, it's just funny.
We did.
that
We really kind of bagged on Ron Santo. But
yeah. Then we ended up in a huge steroid conversation with him. A huge one.
we did.
We're talking about. Just go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, we got to cover our bases here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, Ernie Banks, other than being Mr. Cub, is a Hall of Famer, 2-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, and he also has a Gold Glove. He has 2,500 hits. He is in the 500 home run club, which puts him in obviously rare, not as rare as it once was, but rare air, especially for a guy that did play a bunch of his career at shortstop. And he is widely considered the greatest Cub of all time. I don't think that's too much of a debate, is it?
And very beloved. I mean,
Yes.
he had to be number one.
Yeah.
He led the league in home runs twice. He led the league in RBIs twice. He led the league in slugging percentage once. Led the league in total bases once. And this is during like the heyday of a lot of all-time greats. He would have played at the same time as Ted Williams, as Stan Musial, as partially with Willie Mays, and Hank Aaron. Like he was there through the thick of a lot of all-time greats.
Mm-hmm.
And still had, was leading the league in things and won 2 MVPs. We're talking about a hell of a ball player here. So, and I think we talked about him quite a bit in our all-time positions I don't know what I don't think we ended up putting him anywhere actually, but he was the one that heavily sparked the positional debate because I think two of us had him as our all-time greatest shortstop. Yeah, me and Wade.
Yeah.
And then we decided that he wasn't eligible to be shortstop.
Yeah, because
he played a few more games. I think it was close. I think he split his career between first and short. And then we decided since he had more games at first, he would have to be a first baseman.
Yeah, because if you count him as a shortstop, he's got over 500 home runs. He is number one.
Yeah.
Just outside of A-Rod, who also split time at third and was on steroids. No other. Am I wrong? Is there another shortstop to do it?
No.
I was gonna say
no way.
Because Cal Ripken hit some home runs, but he didn't get to 500.
He didn't get. He's in the 400s, but he also he's. I think we didn't we. We did put him at short. We did. Yeah, he was at short.
Because after Ernie Banks, I believe Cal Ripken ended up being my number one. On my list.
Yeah, because he played 12.59 at first and he played 11.25 at short.
Yeah, we're talking about less than 100 games.
Yeah,
that's.
Yeah, I remember us debating about that for a while.
Yeah, he started his career at shortstop, played the first 8 years, and then the last 11 years he played at first. 10, 11, yeah.
Well, I mean, is he the only Cub that we have up there that has hit any of the major milestones? There's no other 500 home run guy.
Rizzo won the World Series.
Well, I guess I don't count Sammy. I guess if he cheated.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sammy has 600 home runs.
Yeah, there's an asterisk next to him. But no one.
Well, Cap Anson had 3,000 hits.
Okay, well, you got to play in the last 140 years.
He only played, 20-something?
Oh, Cap Anson, that rascal.
All right, well, we have 3 of our 4 guys.
It's crazy.
Ernie Banks, Ryan Sandberg, and Ron Santo are all already in. And now we have Sammy Sosa, Fergie Jenkins, Anthony Rizzo, and Cap Anson, not Hansen, to be decided between for our last spot. So 4 guys for 1 spot.
Alex, every time you say Fergie, I keep wanting to say my lovely lady lumps. Check them out.
My lovely
I just think of the bad national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I think of every time.
I forgot about that.
Well, I will say this. I can see an argument for all 4 of these guys if you want to be real.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Cap Anson has some really,
I know
really
he does.
impressive
Why do you think I'm putting Get the hell out of here, dude.
What were those numbers again?
I mean, Cap Anson.
That's right. Here we go. Yep. Clap it up.
I'm trying to defend you. You're interrupted. He batted .334 and had 3,400 hits in his career. That's really impressive. He also had over 2,000 RBIs. How many guys in Major League Baseball have 2,000 RBIs? I bet it's not a ton.
No, it's not very many. It's
he led the
4.
league in RBIs 8 times. And the guy only hit 97 home runs in his career, so he wasn't doing that. But anyway, there's a case for him. Wade's case for Anthony Rizzo is legit. He was on the World Series team, the World Series team.
The one. The one in the past, 80 years or something?
And
110.
110. Okay.
Yeah. And then Fergie Jenkins is the franchise's all-time greatest pitcher. And then you have Sammy Sosa. If you don't discredit him for steroids, he's the clear choice. I mean, it's not even close. The people that don't care about steroids have Sammy on their list and maybe have him number 1.
Well, I bet if you said, if you asked people who weren't Cubs fans which one of these guys they recognize, Sammy Sosa would be the one everyone pointed to.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows who Sammy Sosa is.
Yeah.
Now, if it's for good or bad, everybody knows who Sammy Sosa is.
Mm-hmm. And like we said, he's in the 600 home run club, not the 500 home run club, the 600 home run club.
And the 60 home run club multiple times.
Yeah.
He's the only player in history to do it multiple times.
Yeah. Still can't lead the league, though. It's kind of embarrassing, but
Never led the league.
Took all those steroids and still couldn't be number 1.
Oh, that's not true. He's the only player in history to do it 3 times because Mark did it twice.
Mark did it twice, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you think we'll see it again? Soon? We'll see it again.
We'll see it again.
I don't know. No one nowadays.
You just
stay
never
healthy
know.
long enough.
I feel like it's just so hard to
this.
predict.
We got to get out of this injury riddle thing. Sports.
Judge just did it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but like what Drew just said, what's the odds of him staying healthy for 150 games though?
Well, then look,
Otani though. Otani
He
might
can't.
dish out a big season. I don't know.
Cunha.
I mean, he's hitting the hell out of the ball right now. He's DHing, but he's hitting the hell out of the ball.
I mean, that's his best chance at staying healthy probably if
well,
he
Judge
just
is already,
DHs all the time.
isn't Judge already at like 19 or 20?
He's up
I
there.
don't know.
I think
done
he's
this
close to 20 already. I think
It's just such a hard thing to predict. You really don't know.
because all it takes is you getting hit, staying in there batting,
Yeah.
or something fluke happen.
Or you can just tweak something and miss 3 or 4 games, but then it throws you off, and then you go in a big slump.
Judge has
like-
21 home runs already.
Yeah, I mean the man is a monster. He can cream. Doesn't actually Stanton have gotten off to a good start?
A bunch of them.
He did. I saw him hit a home run the other day, but I don't. Oh, Stanton has 14.
I mean,
And Soto has like what? He's in between them.
Yeah, so Soto has 17.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the Yankees.
yeah, of it. Hmm. 60's a lot though. You gotta
60's
keep
a lot.
a very high pace for
Yeah.
all year. Like
I mean, I don't know how many games has Judge has played. 60 games, and he's at 21 home
He's
runs.
about on pace for 60.
So he would have 42 home runs at 122 games. So he's not even on the pace.
Usually you figure to get 60, you got to do 10 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We've been through
He's
April
close.
and May.
Yeah, he's close to it, but
yeah,
he's
he's
yeah.
close.
I mean, he's got about 100 more games to hit 40 more home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got
A lot of times though,
about half his games he's got to hit a home run.
a lot of these guys either have phenomenal starts or phenomenal finishes. I feel like it's rare to see someone just
Be consistent.
consistently
Yeah,
do it.
nobody does that. Yeah, you're right. You'll, like
Like when Stanton hit like 59 this last year with the Marlins or whatever,
Mhm.
it was like 35 of them came out the second half of the season.
Yeah.
He was just cranking the shit out of it. Like, it's just how long you can keep that run going.
Otani's got 14, by the way.
I would have guessed he had more, to be honest.
I mean, nobody's hit 20 yet except for Judge. But anyway, oh, it was just an interesting question. So, what do we want to do about these 4 guys? Anybody have somebody they want to take their vote off of because they've heard an argument or whatever?
I'm sticking my guns. You always need a cap.
I feel like the most Cub thing to do would be put Sammy Sosa on. I feel like that's the biggest Cub thing to do. Put a steroid user on the Cubs.
Then we're opening a can of worms.
It's the
'Cause then-
Cubs. If your team's arch
'cause
rival.
then I'm gonna think it's okay, and then other teams I'm gonna start putting steroid users on.
Well, I mean, here's
If they belong on the Mount Rushmore of that team, put them
I
on.
mean, let's be honest here. It's going to be really hard to keep Bonds off of the Giants list.
I'm going to put him on, I'll be honest. When I think of the Giants, I think of Barry Bonds and Willie Mays.
I mean, yeah, you can put Mays on. I mean, you're going to put Mays on.
Yeah.
You're going to put Mays on. You're probably going to put McCovey on. You're probably going to put Melott on. And then you're going to be sitting there looking at all these guys going, Bonds is better than all these guys. Like, I mean, Wade put Bonds on the Pirates list.
I did
we
indeed.
didn't decide on it, but
Didn't you put him on there with me? You just weren't here for the episode?
I put Barry on for the Pirates.
Yeah.
That was clean Barry. Mustache clean Barry. Not triple XL cat Barry.
Triple XL.
I mean,
We're not voting for him to go to the damn Hall of Fame. It's our podcast. It's just a Mount Rushmore.
yeah.
Who gives a shit? It's our podcast. And Sammy's probably the most well-known person up there.
He's definitely the most well-known person up there.
But is he the most popular?
Yeah, how do
among
Cubs fans feel about him?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
During? Yeah, probably. After the fact?
Yeah, after the
Probably
fact,
not
they
so
did
well.
not.
I mean, he did not leave on good terms.
No, he did
No.
not.
The Cubs. I feel like Cubs fans were embarrassed about the cork bat stuff.
yeah.
I don't think they were
bat
super
stuff,
embarrassed
you're wrong.
about the steroid stuff because everybody was doing it. But like, I think the cork bat stuff was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it breaks in the-
double cheated.
it breaks in the middle of the game, and it just
This motherfucker was double cheating.
And his
That's so funny.
And his excuse.
That's how you go from one home run to
accident.
60.
Yeah.
That's how you go from 1 to 60.
they're
Court batting practice.
Yeah.
That's
Sammy
my
Sosa
bad
is a
practice
fucking
bat.
genius. This dude got on steroids and got a cork bat and pranked everybody for like a half a decade and made himself millions and millions of dollars, and then just
I
rode
love
off
the,
into the sunset.
I love the excuse, Dad. I meant to just use it for batting practice.
Yeah. I
Oh,
wanted to put on a show for the fans.
Kind of sounds like
Son of a
LeBron, how he
gun.
pranked us for 21 years. Oh, look, I'm the GOAT. Not really.
Oh no.
well, you got your comment in.
Yep, finally,
right.
after 5 episodes.
Oh, what are we gonna do with this?
I'll be honest. I'm up for if someone has a case to make. I'm open.
We have to know a damn Cubs
I'm ready to
fan.
make this happen.
What's Emma think?
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
Call Emma.
Oh gosh.
Give her the 4 and let her pick.
I might have to tell her to ask her dad.
What's Evan think?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
All the Cubs fans. My wife's a Cubs fan. Both of our wives are Cubs fans. You guys heard.
Well, both have in-home Cub fans, and y'all didn't even think of them.
I should have asked Emma's.
I was literally just scrolling through my phone looking at sports fans. I wasn't even thinking about my wife. I just talked about earlier how she was watching the playoff run getting mad at Chapman. And like I didn't even. Oh man, that's embarrassing.
I should have thought about asking my father-in-law. He's a humongous Cubs fan. Like Emma's
Do you
whole
have his
family.
number?
Or
It's only 8:00.
I don't know. Oh, hang on.
Well, I'm okay with letting the Cubs fans decide.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna call my wife. Make this quicker.
Yeah.
You gonna call your wife to call your wife, or call your wife to have her talk to her dad? Okay.
This is who
Dad.
wants
Get
to
her
be.
opinion.
Oilers are up 2 after 1.
That's why I tell my wife whenever she doesn't answer her phone, I'm like, you're always staring at it. Like, what do you, like, how did,
Mine too.
I'm going to make him suffer for 5 minutes.
This is ridiculous. Sending texts but not answering our calls wild.
In her defense, she might be doing county business.
last night, I was calling my wife. I'm in Wisconsin, mind you. 6 hours away. Calling her. She never answers. She doesn't even text me this morning when she gets up to say anything. She just ignores it and acts like it didn't happen. I get home, and I'm like, babe, I was calling you last night. Why didn't you answer the phone? Well, I didn't realize you called me until it was time for me to go to bed. And then I just figured, oh, if he needed something, he'd call me some more. So then I just went to bed, and then when I got up this morning, I knew nothing was wrong because I could look at Life 360 and see your dot was coming home. So I knew you were okay. And I was like, babe, I could have been dying somewhere, and you just wouldn't have answered your phone. And what I wanted to tell her, wasn't important, mind you, but it was actually that 48 hours. I'm in Wisconsin, not even home.
Who would you pick between
And-
Anthony Rizzo, Sammy Sosa, Cap Hansen, and who's the Jenkins coach?
Fergie Jenkins.
And Fergie Jenkins.
Fergie.
He said Fergie Jenkins.
It-
That's
her-
all I needed. he said Sammy's a cheater. All right, I appreciate it. I'll talk to you later.
Do you though, Wade? I knew you were not happy. You said you appreciate it. I said no, he didn't.
So we all in
That's
agreement?
funny.
So
Fergie's on?
that was him. Dad.
I'm cool with Fergie. Yeah,
Fergie's
That was
side.
him as dad.
yeah. I did it. We did a 3-way call.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Cool.
Oh, he went straight. He went with Fergie Jenkins fast.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that Cubs fans like him some
They
Fergie.
like Fergie.
They did.
Yeah.
They do.
Well, Drew, we got fucked.
I know.
Well, my father-in-law is a huge Cubs fan. He goes to Wrigley like 10 times a year. He's so he knows what he's talking about. So
All right, well, that's somebody that goes to Wrigley 10 times a year that does not live in Chicago.
yes,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. I'm sure people that live in Chicago are like, I do that all the time. But like when you don't live there, that's a trip.
Like when he has free time during the summer, like him and my mother-in-law usually try and go see another game. You know, they go to a lot.
So just a reminder for everybody, that means our Mount Rushmore for the Chicago Cubs are as follows: Fergie Jenkins, Ron Santo, Ryan Sandberg, and Ernie Banks, which I will say is a pretty solid Mount
pretty good.
Rushmore.
Pretty good.
I mean,
bunch.
all 4 of those guys are in the Hall.
Yeah, we're talking
that's true.
MVPs and Cy Youngs, and yeah.
Yeah, we've got a Cy Young and Jenkins, and then we've got 2 MVPs with Banks and 1 with Sandberg.
Yeah.
So Santo's the only one without a major award.
Right.
Yeah, they could definitely have done worse. We've definitely made worse.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Pretty good bunch.
Yeah.
And even with the World Series, it does not matter.
All right. Well, that will end the Mount Rushmore portion of our episode and lead us into our MVP chat. And Drew, what year are we doing?
1970.
1970 MLB MVP. And that will lead us to the AL, where Boog Powell of the Baltimore Orioles took home the MVP, not leading the league in a single category.
What's his name?
Boog Powell. B-O-O-G.
Boog.
Yes.
Boog.
Boog Powell. And also,
I like Boog.
no, Boog Powell's such a cool name. Like, it is cool. By the way, he came in.
Counting pretty high.
He came in 10th in WAR.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
Down the list.
No, well, I was explaining war to someone the other day, and like, that just doesn't make sense.
And I'm like, because you can't explain it because we don't know what it is. They refuse to give us the formula.
don't need to talk about it.
I try to explain the best I can. Like, well, that just why do certain positions get more than others? I'm like, nope. But it's just,
Yeah.
yep.
It's a mess.
You almost
And
think
he's
they would be
like-
making rocket fuel, not giving out the equation.
10th or 11th in hits.
So here's Boog Powell's numbers overall for the year. He had 82 runs, 156 hits, 35 home runs, 114 RBIs, 1 steal, 104 walks. He hit 297, 412, 594 for a 962 OPS. So his OPS ended up pretty nice. Yeah, really nice on base percentage there. But I will say there's some guys on here that I'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
I know who you want to talk about.
Well,
4
yeah.
and 5.
I mean, Yaz led the league in 5 categories. I just want to say that.
Yeah, I think the guy. I didn't even know who's Frank Howard. Should I know that name, or is this just an anomaly year?
No, Frank Howard had a good career.
Yeah.
Don't feel
Probably
bad, Drew. I
know
can't
him.
think of who
That's
he
what
is.
I was thinking. I was like,
More
who?
as a manager, didn't he? Wasn't he?
He looks old.
The name sounds familiar, but I can't picture a player or anything.
Yeah, I mean, he was Rookie of the Year, 4-time All-Star. He won a World Series. He was a good player. But I'm not like, oh crap, all-time great player. He was a good player for a while.
What team was Boog?
I was
on?
really drawing a blank when I saw
Baltimore.
I mean, once you start going back a little ways, it's it's not an era you grew up in. There's a lot of these little side characters you're gonna not know.
But Tony Oliva actually came in second place. He had 96 runs, 204 hits, which led the league, 23 home runs, 107 RBIs, 5 stolen bases. He batted 325, 364, 514 for an 874 OPS, which I don't believe Oliva had a better year than Boog Powell, but he did come in second.
Well, the thing that killed him was based on his walks.
Yeah, he didn't.
Powell
yeah.
had 104, Killebrew had 128, and Oliva had 38.
Did he not just?
Yeah, Harmon Killebrew, who played for Minnesota, same team as Tony Oliva, had a much better season and came in third. He had 96 runs, same amount, more than Powell, 143 hits, which was not as many as those guys. But he hit 41 home runs. He had 113 RBIs, 128 walks. He hit 271, 411, 546 for a 957 OPS. Here's a good one for you. Oh, Yaz led the league in runs with 125. At 186 hits, hit 40 home runs, hit 102 RBIs, stole 23 bases at 128 walks. He hit 329, 452, 592, and an OPS of 1044. That's a season right there, boy.
Interesting.
Frank Howard of Washington had 90 runs, 160 hits, 44 home runs, which led the league, 126 RBIs that led the league in walks with 132. He batted 283. I almost said that backwards, 238. That would have been a big difference. 283, 416, 546 for a 962 OPS. Yeah, and then if we want to look at some pitchers, Tim Perry, also from Minnesota, led the league with 24 wins that season with a 3.04 ERA. He pitched in 40 games and had 168 strikeouts. Not exactly the MVP-worthy performance from our league leader in wins.
Who won the World Series that year?
It's a great question. I'm not 100%
I feel like
sure.
Minnesota was stacked.
Well, Minnesota definitely had three guys right here in the MVP discussion.
It is the Orioles.
Oh, the Orioles. Huh?
Oh,
Boy,
okay.
Boog.
Good pal.
Boog.
Yeah.
Boog. I'm Boog. Boog Pow.
Now the
They
pieces
They beat the
come
Reds
together.
4-1.
Brooks Robinson is also 7th on here, and he played for Baltimore.
I like me some Brooks Robinson.
Frank Robinson is also on here. He played for Baltimore. Mike Sadler played for Baltimore. He's on here. Dave McNally is from Baltimore. He pitched a pitcher. He won 24 games. He's on here. Led the league in led the league in hits. Sorry, gave it the most hits. Baseball. Yeah. Jim Palmer, the Hall of Famer's on here. Wow. He's like 25th on the MVP voting. He probably had the best season of all the pitchers. He only won 20 games instead of 24. My bad. But he had a 2.71 ERA and led the league with 300 innings pitched that year.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
305 to be exact. And struck out 200 batters.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Only-
Again, I don't think it's MVP worthy, but
Yeah.
I think it's better than those other pitchers.
You throw 300 innings, you're a bad boy.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I guess we need to look at some records here. Did you have the Baltimore's record pulled up when you had that pulled up, Drew?
No, but I got it right. I can pull it up real quick. They were 108 and 54. First in the AL East.
108?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Baltimore won 108 games that year.
Who else?
Oh. Well, they had a lot of guys on there.
You wanna know- You
And
want
Jim Palmer pitching.
to know Minnesota?
Yeah, Minnesota, if you would.
Minnesota. They won 98 games. And were first in the AL West.
Well, we want to look up the Red Sox?
Yeah. Red Sox.
Because they play in the same division as Baltimore, so they may have missed the playoffs.
87 and 75. You were third in the AL East.
Yeah.
Does anyone have like someone they're leaning towards, or everyone kind of split, or? I'm just trying to read the room here.
I kind of
Yaz was
like
pretty nice.
Yaz and Howard both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah.
Yaz, Howard, and
Howard.
Bruce. Pretty
Yeah,
nice
he's
as
got a
well.
good one too.
Frank Howard Washington only won 70 games. They were 6th in the AL East.
Okay.
Yaz's all-around numbers are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, he led the league in 5 categories, and he did a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's what I kind of noticed. when I was looking at it.
He led the league in runs, which obviously is important. He was really high on hits, really high on home runs, RBIs. He stole 23 bases. Really, really good in walks. Hit 329, had an on-base percentage of 452, and led the league in OPS and slugging percentage.
Well, and here's something that's interesting. He's batted 329,
Yeah.
and the guy they've got highlighted for leading the league is Alex Johnson at 329.
Yeah, so he must have beat him by a percentage point.
Yeah,
Right,
it probably
must
went
have
to
been
the-
farther down the list. So basically, he really led the league in another category too.
Yeah.
My father-in-law said we did a good job with the Cubs list.
Oh.
I told him the 4.
Well, tell him thank you. We appreciate that.
I will.
Like and subscribe.
All right, well, let's get our boards out, gentlemen, and let's put our votes on. Don't think I need to waste too much more time on this one.
Look, it's a busted bracket.
Remember, yes, would mean that Boog Powell keeps his MVP. No would mean he does not, and just go ahead and write down who you think it should be. And I have mine ready.
I'm ready.
Yep.
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right. I put no and put yes.
I just put yes.
I went with your boy, Alberta.
I said no and yes.
Yes.
Yaz and unanimous.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty crazy. I don't know if we've done that before. But I will say this, though. When your team wins 108 games, that's really impressive.
It is.
It's a lot of games.
Yeah.
What's the record? 116.
It's something around there.
I was gonna say one. I was gonna say 118, but it might be. I don't know.
I don't think anyone's gotten the 120. I think it's somewhere in the teens.
Yeah.
108th wild.
Right where you guys are talking about. It's, I don't know the exact.
Because wasn't it one of the Mariners teams?
Yeah, it's actually one that.
Well, did the Mariners get the record, or because
the
one of those Yankees teams won a bunch of games too, like when they had Murderers Row.
I thought Did the Mariners pass the Murderers Row Yankees?
That's what I was trying to think. Did they, or did they get close? That's what I was trying to think.
I thought the Mariners got it, and then they got beat by the Yankees in the playoffs.
Well, the Mariners lost first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually
Yeah.
not. I always thought it was a team that still had like Griffey and
It was
bunch of the guys.
Ichiro's.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
it was like Ichiro and a bunch of decent guys.
Yeah, I think Ichiro and Edgar Martinez were still there.
Yeah, Edgar
was
might have
still
been.
there.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, I think it was
Griffey's
like
gone, Randy Johnson's
Boone's
gone,
there,
A-Rod's gone.
and
Yeah.
I
It's
can't.
kind of a goofy team
Jay
actually.
Buhner's still there.
Like Mike Cameron's there or
Yeah.
something like that. Like, but I mean, they had a great year.
They did.
Like they had. I'm not trying to say they were crap, but it wasn't the team that everyone thinks of.
Yeah.
Like, because I used to even think that it was like maybe like one of the later Griffey teams or something, but it's not.
All right. Well, a much more famous player won the NL MVP that year, and Johnny Bench, who was our all-time greatest catcher in that episode. And Johnny Bench, obviously playing for Cincinnati, a really close vote actually, and somebody that was mentioned in this episode already. But Johnny Bench received 22 of 24 first place votes, but almost. Oh wait, it wasn't a close vote. I misread that total number there. Johnny Bench blew this out. He won by a landslide. So he, like I said, he received 22 of 24 first place votes. So he had 97 runs, 177 hits. He led the league with 45 home runs. Also led the league with 148 RBIs. He stole 5 bases. He had 54 walks. He batted .293, .345, .587 for a .932 OPS. So I will say that Johnny Bench not only had a really good season, but he did it at catcher.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, is there a more valuable thing than being an all-time great defensive catcher that leads the league in home runs? Like, is there a more valuable person that you can think of that, like?
And his team won 102 games.
Yeah, like I'm not even trying to be anticlimactic. He's a absolute monster behind the plate that led the league in home runs. I mean, you're not going to come across anyone more valuable than that.
And he hit .293. It's not like he hit 200 and hit 45 home
Did you say he
runs.
had like 148 RBIs?
Yeah, 148, yeah.
Yeah, get the hell out of town. This guy destroyed everyone.
I will say this, though. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve his MVP, but there are some other good seasons on here that I would like to look at.
Yeah. Okay.
Billy Williams, who I mentioned earlier in the Cubs portion of this episode, came in second place. He led the league with 137 runs. He led the league with 205 hits. He hit 42 home runs, 129 RBIs, stole 7 bases, walked 72 times, hit .322, .391, .586 for a .977 OPS. Billy Williams had himself a very, very nice offensive season.
That was very nice.
Now, he was an outfielder, not a catcher, but he did have himself a very nice season. You also had the person in third place is Tony Perez, who was also a Red, who also hit 40 home runs and had 129 RBIs and batted .317. Another very nice offensive season right there. Number 4 is none other than Bob Gibson.
Oh, okay.
Who by the way, I mean, and only 109 at bats, but he batted 303.
Oh, Bob Gibson was killing bitches.
He batted 303 with 2 home runs. But he led the league with 23 wins, 23-7. Had a 3.12 ERA in 34 games. Pitched 294 innings and 274 strikeouts. Very nice season.
Yeah.
He also had somebody like Willie McCovey, like McCovey Cove. Willie McCovey had 98 runs, 143 hits, 39 home runs, 126 RBIs. He led the league with 137 walks. He batted 289, 444. Led the league with a 612 slugging percentage and a 1056 OPS.
Did his 444 or whatever on base not lead the league?
It did not, because Rico Carty had 445 or 454.
I was gonna say because
batted 366.
ooh,
I don't even know who Rico Carty is, by
I
the way.
don't
He played
either.
for Atlanta.
Rico.
I do not remember him, but man, he had a heck of a year.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting ready to say Roberto Clemente batted 352 that year, but he didn't bat as high as Rico. Wow.
Yeah, he had 25 home runs and 101 RBIs to go with that 366.
Here's another guy for you. Had 103 runs, 154 hits, 38 home runs, 118 RBIs, batted 298, 385, 574 for a 958. That would be none other than Hank Aaron.
oh, shocker. Yeah,
Fergie Jenkins is also on this list.
son of a bitch.
He won 22 games with a 3.39 ERA, led the league in WHIP, and threw 313 innings and had 274 strikeouts. Well, gentlemen, any thoughts?
I mean, there were a lot of really, really nice seasons on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I still come back to Smith.
Yeah.
Or Smith, sorry. I don't know why I was thinking of Mike Smith. But, Johnny
Where is
Bench.
Mike Smith? This is 1970. Shouldn't Smith been playing?
Was that just before him? Did he come in during the 70s, or did he play all the way through the 70s?
I was thinking he came in the 70s.
He came in the 70s,
Maybe he
maybe.
just came in right after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think Wade made a really good point. I mean, I think a couple of these guys may have offensively been a little better than Bench, but I bet none of them was better than Bench defensively.
Yeah.
72.
And with him
No.
being a catcher and controlling to help control the pitching staff on one of the maybe the best team in the league or one of the best teams in the league, like it's just a big job to handle, and he was one of the greatest ever at it. And then this is, I'm guessing, his greatest offensive year of all time.
Let's look.
Or I'm should be close.
By the way, Drew looked it up. Smith came in the league in 72.
Okay.
Dum.
Yeah, Bench also won a Gold Glove that year.
Yeah.
He did not win the Silver Slugger, though. Did
No,
they
I
not
don't
have
think
Silver
they had-
Sluggers? I
well,
was saying, 'cause he doesn't have
Yeah.
any. He doesn't have
Yeah.
any Silver Sluggers. So that
I
had
think
couldn't
Silver
have
Sluggers were later.
been. His second MVP season is also nice, but it's not as good as this one.
Well, dude, 148 RBIs and 45 home runs from a catcher is pretty that's amazing.
Well, that's his highest RBI,
His highest
And-
home run.
highest home run output.
His second MVP season, he went 40 and 125. So he was close, but
Still
not,
pretty damn good.
not
yeah.
quite there. And he only hit 270 that year, not 293.
Silver Slugger began in 1980, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
They're around longer than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, gents, so we vote.
I already wrote mine down, actually.
Yeah. And we said this team won 102 games. Is that what you said?
Yep. And they went on to win the World Series.
What?
Yeah.
All right, everybody got theirs?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I said yes.
I said yes.
I put yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Johnny B.
All right. Well, Johnny Bench, we will not be
Johnny
coming to
be
take your
good.
MVP. Yeah, the Cubs only won 84 games that year.
Yeah.
Not that that's bad, but I just mean like not 100 and
And Bobby Gibson's Cardinals team only won like 76,
Oh,
so he didn't have any support there.
so they won 76 games and he won 23 of them.
poor guy.
All right, well that will wrap up this MVP portion of our episode and the episode in general. We appreciate you tuning in for this Cubs episode, and we would appreciate you tuning in next week for our Oakland A's episode. Yes, we will be switching to the AL West. And thanks for tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.